Okay, day 6, no contact. So I've been really teary today, and it's for a lot of things. But look, I am planning on doing my mushroom ritual tonight. So it's, possibly, well, definitely some lead up to that, because I'm not super experienced with psychedelics. I'm just really cold. I don't know. I'm not coping with some of the stuff in my head, and it's not necessarily the right reason. I don't advocate, by the way, for taking any kind of psychedelics. I do advocate for personal choice and freedom, and it's what I'm doing. So, but yeah, don't follow my advice, anyone. Don't do what I do. That's for damn sure. But yeah, it's like a bit of the pre-trip anxiety, I guess. Like I've considered dipping out and not doing it at all a few times, but I'm going to. Yeah, so I did say yesterday in the film that I took that I'd try and make it more naturey. I have been out in nature. I'm a little bit sunburnt actually. I needed some sun, but it's just not appropriate filming out there. Little kitties running around and stuff, but I'll show you a little look. I booked a nice little lakeside cabin, so I've got the nature of this beautiful lawn out there. So yeah, later on when it's quiet and the sun goes down, I'll probably be rolling around in the grass a little bit, I hope. And it's so beautiful. So yeah, I found it really interesting, like just the rabbit hole of going down like all this, the neurology and stuff of, what potentially is going on with like my brain and his brain. I've got to give him some kind of name. Like I can't call him his name, obviously, but he can just be him for now. But yeah, it's really fascinating. I've been ruminating, like quite stuck on his brain today, because my brain can come in time. I've just been so confused. I've not been able to figure out, like for a year now, like what is going on. And like I'm happy upon reflection, like it's nothing like I thought it was, but at the same time I was, making real sense out of things. I probably sound stupid, but so many people have probably been through all this, and they're just like, oh, duh. And all my friends are like, oh, duh. But I'm happy with how I put it together in some ways. And look, the journey of life is the journey of life, and it looks to me like the process that now I'm probably recommended to go on, as far as like addressing and healing the abuse. Fuck, why? It's so hard to say. That I've been put through. It seems like I'm giving away my power by saying that, and like straight up, I believe that my responsibility, mostly by far, lies in continuing to put myself in that position over and over. So yeah, I didn't do anything. I moved heaven and earth. My goodness, and I'm just gonna leave that. The process to address and go through some healing, or big healing, to me, and I'm no psychologist, and I'm really just fumbling through these things on my own, but it looks to me like that's potentially going to also get to just general, like, core root issues that I've been wanting to go through and get to the bottom of, and use like, we all have our own avoidance tactics, and I was definitely quite ripe and vulnerable to be like distracted and led into a fantasy world, because fuck, take me again, let's go. That's my go-to. Like I live in a fantasy world, so finding out some hard realities about my own mind. But my intentions and my actions were, doesn't matter. Yeah, so I'm trying to look at, well, I really am looking at this whole year that I've been through as, well, something that I can learn and grow from. And in some ways, really, like, potentially a blessing. It's funny, in, like, maybe the second time I met him, I said, I think, I feel like you've saved my life. And, you know, I've said that multiple times over the relationship, and it's like people would laugh to hear that, considering what, you know, has gone down. But I still feel that. I totally still feel that, like, probably even more so. But, you know, as he said to me quite early on as well, don't know, I was after I got back from Cairns, so it wasn't super early. So like maybe, I don't know, March, April. But, yeah, I was telling him about, like, you know, how he's my guardian angel, like, fantasy world. He's my guardian angel, and, you know, even though I'd never told him all this stuff, like, I just, you know, I felt safe because I had him in my mind as this, like, protection sort of figure, and, I don't know. Yeah, I was swept away long before he tried to sweep me away. But I kept it to myself. But when I did tell him, he was just like, I didn't do any of this stuff. Like, I'm not a guardian angel. I'm not, you know, he was a bit overwhelmed, like, in quite a cute way. But he's like, I didn't do this. Like, you know, you did this. And I was like, well, you're right, because I never even told you. I never, you know, projected it out at all. We weren't dating at this point. And yeah, it's, even just as I say things, it makes me think of them more succinctly, because yeah, that is kind of what I do, I guess. I create a fantasy to try and, like, get me through the reality stuff that I don't want to do to make real life goals happen. This is me just justifying it. I don't know. But if I, you know, it's got to be better than a fantasy that takes people down, that's for sure, and I don't do that. So yeah, I talked a little bit about my sigils, but I did them last night. So this one is, so I don't really have any structured crazy plan. I've got my art kit set up. I'll try and take a few vids. Anyone who's, like, game to stick around. But then I might not even be able to operate the phone, so we'll see. Anyway, this one is for the release of the relationship. Ooh, even knowing everything I know. Oh, it's not easy. I do these sigils a lot. And yeah, there's a few significant things about this one, like where I've put the letters, I've never put them before. They've always been a bit different, and that's been part of the release to even break the pattern of how I put those letters together. This one is this is trying to, I've got no idea what's going to happen. Like, you, in a psychedelic journey, you never know, you can't control it. Set your intentions, be open-minded, hope for the best. The medicine's going to show you what it wants to show you. But I'm sort of broad-ranging my intentions over the three sort of core things. Anyway, that's, you know, my recent trauma. But yeah, I think what left me vulnerable to even getting as, like, addicted to this relationship. Like, you know, we were going through some hectic stuff, but it was him I was addicted to. Like, no drama llama. Yeah. Current trauma. The reason why I think I was, like, quite a willing and vulnerable target in that situation, and let myself continue to be invested and be involved, and, like, you know, think it was something that it wasn't, and ignore red flags, all of it, is because of things that I haven't addressed. And I think it's fair to say, this is, like, nothing that I put up here is to have, like, any offense to anyone at all. I'm trying really hard to, like, balance it out with, like, telling my story. Honestly, while also, yeah, not spinning dirt anywhere, because I don't want to hurt anyone. But yeah, I think it's fairly commonly accepted nowadays that a lot of like repeated negative behaviour patterns can stem from issues through childhood, and there's definitely stuff that, you know, love my parents, love my family. Not particularly close with any of them for now. Like, you know, everything's malleable. I don't know if this YouTube channel will help, but who knows. But yeah, there's trauma that I hold from childhood. It's wrapped up in quite a few things. That, you know, who doesn't? But yeah, and some of that's kind of just risen up a little bit as, you know, the little inner child. So this is to do with just releasing the chains that maybe are like chaining my adult self to things that I can't change, from when I couldn't protect myself. If that's worded right. And then this one goes into, so alcohol, it's just knowing hospitality my whole life. It's, you know, I've bounced on and off it as a crutch for a long time now, and I've tried a few different methods, or many different methods. Really started trying in 2019, and I've had big successes. Like, it's, you know, the loop that seems to be happening for me is I will find something, or pretty much I'll hit like rock bottom, or get to a point where I'm just like, I can't live like this. And then I'll be like, okay, I'll make a change, and I'll develop a plan, and then I'll prepare, and then I'll hit the plan, and, you know, I am going longer and longer, and making, I think, more and more progress, as far as like doing inner work. I don't know, like, I don't fit that super well into society, so I wouldn't say I'm getting like better with doing that, but, you know, I also don't necessarily want to. I don't know my place in the world. We'll just leave that. But I'm going longer and further, and, you know, having, in what I do apply myself to, great and larger successes. But then I get bored, and, you know, I'll be like peaking out, like getting like really, really good, like fit, healthy, happy routines, just like slaying it, and I get bored. And each time in this cycle, when I've gone, you know, it's usually because I think I've got it under control, and I'll just like, you know, just go to one little bush stuff, you know, I'll just have a beer after work, and it's alright for a while, and then once the slip happens and gets a hold of me, for whatever reason, it's not anything to do with any particular substance or any particular promiscuity, relationships. It's nothing to do with any of them. It's just, and nothing triggers the slip per se, but once it happens, the dip is getting wilder. Like, could have died. I could have died so many times, but I really could have died quite a few times, like through this slip rotation, and a couple of times the one before that. So yeah, this one is for bad habits, alcohol and bad habits. So that's even, you know, I can get really lackluster. I can be like hyper, full of energy, and then the flat line. So that's a bad habit, I think. I'm going to count that as a bad habit. It's been on my mind, so that's going into this one. Lazy eating, yeah. So, they're all a part of me. They are all a part of me, and they're a part of my story, and whatever may be, but hopefully I get to burn a little bit of, you know, what's tying them to me that I don't need to have with me anymore. And that's my intention for tonight. I actually feel probably the best I have all day, because I've been pretty teary, so maybe just like vlogging has something to it, hey? Alright, I'm gonna cut it now, and put up like 5 or 6 videos last night because I couldn't figure out, well, I was running out of space, and then couldn't figure, I was too lazy, bad habit, to figure out how to splice them together. So I'm going to try harder and make this all a little bit just easier to follow. If you choose to follow, I don't mind if no one does. If it helps one person, excellent. Otherwise, it's really just, honestly, for me to get it out, and it's just trying to start making sense of my mind. I'm spinning from, like, it's been a crazy year, and the more I'm finding out, and the more I'm like settling after the hurricane. Yeah, I gotta have somewhere to put it, so this will be, who knows where it will take us, but the journey has begun. So yeah, here she goes. That's it. Here I go on my own brain stew. Oh my god, I'm not gonna stew our brains, kids. Alright, enough waffle, I'll be back.